time frame. Mm-hmm. Brad, it looks like you have something good to say over there.
I did look up the tournament format
of
the World Cup hockey. It says 8 teams will be divided into 2 groups of 4.
Okay.
Each will play in 3 tournament games with their assigned group in a round-robin format.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And top 2 in both groups will advance to a single-game semifinal, when the first-place team from each group will face an elimination game against the second-place team from the other group. Winners of the semifinal games will advance in a best-of-3 final series.
But what about the dimensions of the rink?
Yeah.
I didn't find that.
Didn't find that?
But
it's no big deal.
But, okay, so we have Group A. We have Team Canada, Team Czech Republic, Team Europe, and Team USA.
Team Europe.
Yes.
So it just took all the countries in Europe and just got
Everybody from Europe.
Then I'm getting over to Group B here.
Okay.
You have
divide them.
Team Finland, Team North America, which doesn't include, I guess, Canada and USA.
Okay.
Team Russia and Team Sweden.
Okay, so Team Europe is... but Sweden's not part of Europe?
Yeah.
Am I missing that? Anybody else missing that?
Maybe they don't have enough people, because if you look at, like, even the NHL, a lot of the foreign players are your Czechs, your Finns, your Russians, and your Swedes.
So if you're a French person, you're just on Team Europe.
Pretty much, yeah.
I don't know if there's any Great Britain players, but I'm part of Team Europe.
Yeah, I don't think there are any.
It could be. I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
I don't think it's that big over there. I think it's more soccer over there.
Mm-hmm.
But, all right, so
interesting format. So
I think we'll touch on it here,
and
we'll just go ahead and move right on. All right, so week 3 of the college rankings have came out. Jarrett, which poll do you follow the most?
I follow the AP poll.
Okay. Brad, what poll do you follow the most?
The AP as well.
Okay. I used to be a diehard coaches poll. I used to believe that the coaches poll was the pure one, that the coaches were actually the ones voting.
Yeah.
Then I became I did some reporting. Mm-hmm. Then I found out that the coaches aren't the ones actually submitting the vote. It's usually a sports information director, or it could be an assistant coach is the one because the head coach has way too much responsibility to say, I think Alabama's number 1, which is obviously 62 votes. They got all the votes. They got the majority of the votes. So, of course, they're number 1. But now I've kind of swayed back over to the AP poll. I kind of believe the AP poll more than the coaches poll. So let's go down the AP poll. And we'll go back and forth between who's 2 and 3 and blah, blah, so on and so forth. Okay, but right now, number 1 and number 2 on both polls, Alabama and Florida State. I think they believe they deserve to be there.
Florida State. I'm not a big believer in them.
Not sold on Francois, or is it just the team as a whole?
Francois. I mean, Francois did do did perform well.
Okay,
but I'm just not I don't know. Like, I didn't watch the whole game.
Well, see, I believe Clemson has taken on a harder schedule.
Yes, they were in the playoff last year. They should have a harder schedule.
And at the end, when it comes down to the ACC championship, it's going to be
Florida State, Clemson.
They're going to face it out. And that's going to eliminate who's going to represent the ACC.
And I like
in
Clemson
the Final
better
Four.
than Florida State anyway.
I'm with you also, but I believe right now with the body of work or what you're seeing, especially after Florida State came back against Ole Miss.
Yeah, very true.
So they deserve just a little, in my opinion.
And they only moved up 1 spot according to the AP.
Yep. Yeah. And number 3 and number 4, Ohio in the AP is Ohio State and Michigan. Once again, those 2 teams, they're going to eliminate each other. They're going to play each other, and one of those teams is going to move out.
Like the boxing fight where the 2 heavyweights duke it out and start standing.
Exactly.
And then you drop down to number 6, because we already talked about number 5 is Clemson, but we already talked about them going ahead. Number 6 is Houston. Now
the Cougs.
Now they have that one great resume win against Oklahoma week 1. They're on cruise control.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have Tulane. I think they have Navy on their schedule.
They play I think they play Louisville, because Louisville's in the American Conference.
Okay.
So
that would be
Navy and Louisville are the 2 heavyweights that they're going to be playing besides Oklahoma.
Very true.
So I'm not. I like Houston. I mean, I wore a Houston shirt because obviously we know who they were playing that day. But I did. I wore a Houston shirt that day. I'm not convinced that they're going to be in the Final Four. I don't believe they're going to be in the final. I don't right now, unless they go through a.
Well, the playoff committee goes off of, they take into account your resume, but they're also taking into account your the teams that you've played, and they also take into account your conference as well.
Right.
So they're coming out of the American Conference. That depends on how well Louisville looks. It depends on how well the other teams in the American Conference look to see if they go undefeated, if they're even going to get into the playoff.
Okay. I agree with that too. And we'll see. You have to run the gauntlet to make it to the final table.
In their conference, yes.
Yes. So, okay, so 7 and 8 right now. 7 Stanford, number 8's Washington. Once those two teams are going to see each other, they're going to
I do like Stanford a lot though.
I actually like Washington a lot more than Stanford. Washington didn't lose it. Didn't necessarily. They brought a lot more people back. And
I like McCaffrey.
Yeah.
I like McCaffrey.
Who are you putting on him to guard him one-on-one?
Oh,
that's the problem for defenses.
Can't remember the linebackers, but Washington has very good linebackers, so that'll be an interesting test. Their linebackers versus Christian McCaffrey.
Definitely be a game to watch there later in the season.
Okay, and dropping down to number 9's Wisconsin. They're gonna hang around there. They're gonna have a loss. They're gonna lose one of these. Michigan,
they gotta play Ohio State,
Michigan, Michigan State. Something's gonna happen there. Louisville.
They gotta play Houston.
Yeah,
so one of them is gonna get knocked out.
Exactly. Then number 11, Texas,
our beloved Longhorns,
the Longhorns that I love so much. We still got to face Oklahoma State. You got to face
we got
Oklahoma.
Cal, we got Oklahoma State, and we got OU in the next 3 weeks.
So. So we're
really going to see what we're made of here.
Right.
The Texas Longhorns are made of.
Yeah, you're going to see what Shane Bichelle's really about. I mean, he did great against Notre Dame. He did great against University of Texas El Paso.
The old Texas Western.
Yeah.
Their coach was wearing the Texas Western hat on the sideline.
Number 12, Michigan State. Once again, I like Michigan State. I've always liked Michigan State. I like their style. It was kind of – I had to bury my head in the sand. I thought of all the games that I want to watch on, was it the day after New Year's Day when they had the bowl game?
New Year's 6. Yeah.
The New Year's 6. So anyway, when I was watching, I was like, I'm going to watch this game, Michigan State and Alabama. That is going to be your national title game. It's going to be really close. It's going to be great. Oh, my God.
They laid
that. Yeah. But
Alabama just
they're always
blew
one
the
of
roof
those.
off that
they're
place.
Always the team that nobody's talking about until they run the table or until they have that one loss in the season. They're like, oh, there's Michigan State out of nowhere.
Well, D'Antonio runs they've always been a great program. It's just
right.
Last year they made a big splash.
Number 13, Iowa. They've moved up three spots in the AP poll. They didn't really graduate a lot of people. No. They're bringing back the same. If you get into a ground and pound situation, Iowa can hurt you.
But still, they have to play Michigan State and Ohio State and Michigan.
Right, and they're probably the best conference in the land.
Big Ten, yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, SEC is the ones.
SEC, that's Alabama's.
It's going to come down. It's going to come down to SEC. They win national titles because Nick Saban. Matter of fact, hold on a second. Let me divert right here real quick. Did anybody see Nick Saban going off?
I did, to Lane Kiffin.
On Lane Kiffin, they were.
Dude, they're always getting at each other.
What was the score? It was 31-3 at the time, or something like.
31-3, and it was
35-3.
A minor mistake on a play call and just went off.
And they said, "Hey, what were you guys arguing about?" And Nick Saban came out and said, "Oh, we weren't arguing. I was just chewing his beep."
It's a family show.
I censored myself. But yeah, I thought. Well, first off, I thought it was classless that he was doing it against Western Kentucky University, which, as a University of North Texas alumni, I really had no sympathy for you.
No.
But I do kind of feel bad when big old Alabama's sticking it to you.
Just keeping the foot on the gas pedal or your foot on their foot on your throat.
Right. Number 14, Oklahoma. Now this is if they lose, I believe they drop out of the top 25.
You think Oklahoma does?
I don't think
Yeah.
they drop completely out. I think they go to the bottom.
Oh, the AP.
If they lose, I think Bob Stoops will be on the hot seat.
Oh, definitely.
I don't think he's on the hot seat.
He was on the hot seat.
He's been there
He's
17
been on the hot seat for a while.
He's been there 17 years, which is unheard of for a college coach. With
And one national title.
For you to be 17 years
by the fluke of Florida State being able to go to the national championship, not playing the real team,
That
the
seems
University
like so
of Miami.
long ago, and it's only been 16 years. So that's just
This has been your whole life. What are you talking about, Brad? Where were you when that game was taking place?
Man, I was.
I don't want to know.
I was 9 years old. So,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
playing with his toys.
Number
15,
15, number 16. Let's go 17. All three of them SEC teams: Tennessee, Georgia, Texas A&M. Number 18, Notre Dame. Number 19, Ole Miss. 20, LSU. I think LSU is going to drop some because they look disorganized.
Their offense, especially.
And Fournette didn't even play last week. They said he might play this week, but I doubt he's still 100%. It is ankles and running backs mix.
Right now, last year this team that I'm getting ready to bring up, number 21 Baylor, they were getting tons of love. Okay, but they did the same. They're doing what I didn't like about what the NCAA does. They took on their first one was Northwestern. They took on SMU this weekend. And they didn't look very good against SMU. No. But once again, it was one of those, let's go ahead. Once we get there, let's run the score up. Let's not take our starters out.
Stat game. Yeah.
Right.
Stat game.
Let's go ahead and run the score up as much as we can. And for when it comes time for the committee, we'll look a whole lot better.
Yeah, just outscored the opponent.
Right. But
basically warm-ups for their conference schedule.
Right. And now the committee's like, oh, we're going to take a look at who you played.
Yep.
And the AP and the coaches poll is like, we really don't care. You haven't took on anybody, so you get this 21 ranking, and you had your scandal. We're still not going to give you the respect that you might deserve.
Yep.
But I don't. I've said it
for
once.
The news that's supposedly off the field is kind of influencing the on the field product.
I said it on this program more than one time. If this school was a public school, they would not have a football program this year. This program would be under
hands down. Yeah,
this program would be under Penn State. It would probably be under SMU. They need to, as much as you want to sugarcoat it. Oh, we found our way. No, you haven't found your way. You're never going to find your way. No. You're going to keep.
It's always going to be the dark cloud that hangs over them.
Yeah, it's never going to go away.
It's going to be the next scandal after next scandal after next scandal. You know.
People are still talking about to this day the whole Penn State scandal, so it will never go away.
No. What the Baylor thing is, we had basketball players killing each other.
Yes,
that goes away, and they still have a basketball program, which they shouldn't have a basketball program. If you have players killing each other and you having that
and
type of
stuff, they don't deserve to even play.
Yeah. How's that going to make your program look?
And we haven't touched on it on this program, but the wide receiver who was beating his dog for the Baylor, we haven't talked about it. You got this community service and stuff like that. It's just disgusting that they're like,
you basically just got a slap on the wrist, and that was it.
That's it. And that, once again, it's, to me, I call it the Baylor way. I know at University of Texas, especially under the Charlie Strong era, you mess up, you're gone.
Yeah,
you're gone. I mean, it's one and done with him. When's Baylor going to do it?
LSU has the same thing. LSU, I think, was,
but it's too late with LSU.
Yeah,
and then this is they have the Mac Brown effect to them.
Yeah.
They've waited. They've let it go so long. The players know they can get away with it. They can do this and that. You've lost institutional control of it. So right now, the prisoners are running the prison, which is a horrible thing to be in. All right, so now that I've gone off on Baylor once again, it seems like every time we get in the studio, I just light up.
On this edition
Baylor.
of the Texas Strangers, David goes off on Baylor once again.
Once again, number 22, Oregon. They're in the polls.
Yep.
Nothing really to talk about there.
Same old Oregon.
At one point when they played, they played against Auburn in the national title. I forgot who they.
They played Auburn.
Yes.
Yeah, they played Auburn.
Yeah, that was when Cam was their
quarterback.
Right. So I really thought that this was the time that I was going to buy into Oregon when Marcus Mariota. No, Oregon lost to Ohio State.